disguise what we don't have. Could it be we worship things that ultimately can't last? Could it be we sabotage love 'cause it hurt us in the past? Could it be we can't clearly see what to subtract and what to add? You do the math, 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 and see what you get. Could it be we plead responsibility? All kinds, mom and dad may share. Hear me now. Could it be we give up on justice? 'Cause the problems so dynamic somehow. Could it be we suffering in low esteem and no stands? Could it be? Could it be? Could it be that
Creep on in, on in, on
think banning slippers and bandanas in the classroom and cafeteria it's a step way too far. Wear a uniform, right? It wasn't
high
a
school.
dress code. It was a uniform.
Yeah.
I've always thought of clothing as like self-expression. I really love clothes, and I've got clothes for every mood, every circumstance, from formal to going to the beach, like, and everything in between. So I was kind of surprised when I heard there's a university they're installing a dress code. They say that kids that go to their school, if they're going to a meeting, they have to wear a business suit and dress shoes.
What?
They've banned slippers and bandanas in the classroom and cafeteria. And I
Okay,
think,
slippers I get. What's wrong with bandanas?
but wait a minute. College. This is where you try on 100 different personalities, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how many? It's almost a joke. You send your kid off as a freshman, and they come back at Thanksgiving, and it's like, who are you?
Mm-hmm.
What happened? I sent my Vineyard Vines kid off to college, and he came back, and it's like he's following the.
Disingenuous. First of all,
What you mean is disingenuous?
the
We lying?
No, I'm not saying y'all are lying. I'm just saying, like, colleges aren't fucking full of kids walking around in bonnets and fucking pajamas. You might walk into a cafeteria.
Yeah.
You walk into a cafeteria at any given time, you might see 3 people dressed like that. You might see 5 or 6 girls.
Maybe back when you was.
I was just in college 5 years ago.
Okay, a lot has changed in 5 years.
What
bro.
I'm telling you
When
is when I was in college, people wore bonnets, wore slides, wore do-rags to the cafeteria, to class.
Agreed.
It's an overstated issue, and it's a non-issue. It's not that serious.
But what I'm saying, it to you, it's not that serious because of the lifestyle that you choose.
It's not
to
that
live.
serious to
What
me
I'm-
because I think the entire idea of professionalism in this country is rooted in the white man's
And
ideology. Once I figured out that there were white people going to Harvard and Yale that dressed like they didn't have a cent to their name, beard unkept, all kind of shit, and they go on to make hundreds of millions of dollars because they're able to code and they're able to do different things, and they never are turned down because of their appearance. Everybody understands that it's harder for black people to get into these spaces and to be accepted, so you have to fight harder and all of those things. The generations that are coming now, this is what the fight was for. That was what the marching was for.
And guess
so
what?
that nigga could wear slides to class and get the same job as the nigga in the Birkenstocks.
And
Do
guess
y'all
what?
niggas not understand
No,
that?
but I
No,
understand
because
that.
that's not what the marching and stuff
Oh,
was for.
niggas didn't want the opportunity for everybody to be judged on their merit. That wasn't what the marching was for.
Action to Tuskegee's new dress code policy is exactly why it's needed in the first place. Tuskegee University recently banned wearing things like bonnets, do-rags, bedroom slippers, and revealing clothing to classrooms and more, and that sparked a whole online debate, which I don't understand because HBCUs have been doing this from the jump. It's not a matter of not having a safe space to wear protective hairstyles or not being able to be comfortable in whatever you're wearing. It's a matter of preparing for the real world, which is exactly what college is supposed to do. And it's also not a matter of subscribing to white standards of professionalism. There's many ways to be presentable and still show up as yourself. On top of that, us black people have always taken pride in being presentable. We're literally the ones who coined the term Sunday's best. Rather than focusing so much on the specifics of this dress code at the university, the real conversation should be about what it prepares you for, or even better yet, what it could prevent from taking place. But hey, anyways, y'all let me know what y'all think.
There's been a lot of conversation about what's going on with Tuskegee and other schools that are starting to mandate a dress code. And everybody's talking about the professional standard of being in the workforce while also being in a community of prestige. We have to consider that these students are paying with student loans out of pocket. And to tell them that they have to be mandated to dress an appropriate way or what the university considers to be appropriate can sometimes be misleading and also dangerous. Do-rag in itself for me has always been a cultural item since the 90s. I don't look at the do-rag as a symbol of not taking shit serious or being unprofessional. It really depends on the setting and it depends on what the goal is for you being here. Would I wear a do-rag to a job interview? Of course not. However, when we talk about students on college campus, the last thing that I want to be worried about when I'm trying to fulfill my academic obligations is what I have on my head or how my hair looks. I want to be able to hit those books, come in and show that I can retain information and that I can critically think about what's being taught to me, especially in an era where a lot of our youth are not seeing the value of higher education or continuing their schooling. This is a very dangerous type of philosophy. It can push a lot of youth away. They may look at other means to find a way to make a living, where college and universities are definitely a place for you to really figure shit out before you know exactly what you want to do for the rest of your life. I wore my do-rag probably in 60% of the classes that I've taken in each degree that I've achieved. Do we want students to think about how they present themselves? Yes, but do we want to turn them away because of their lack of prioritization of fashion and what we consider to be the professional standard? No, we want to encourage them to show up every single time. I don't want you to think that you can't be in the building just because you can't afford to have a suit or tie, but for a student to be misled to invest their money and their thousands and thousands of dollars worth of debt to an institution that now I'm going to say polices the way that they dress. We have to use kid gloves when we think about the messaging that we're putting out. I'm not going to call out my students for wearing a do-rag or a bonnet in the classroom because at the end of the day, they showed up and they're showing up to be a better version of themselves.
All right. Welcome everyone to another episode of The Men's Table. I'm your host, Jeff St. James, and we got Dave Anderson, the business bully, in the building. We got True Table making another appearance. He's a frequent flyer at this point. We got Mr. Fantastic as well as AJ Rants and Reactions. And last but not least, Darwin McPherson, a.k.a. Bruiser. What's going on, gentlemen? How y'all feeling?
Can't complain, man. What's going on with everybody?
Good stuff.
I feel horrible, man. I was supposed to connect with my man Dave this weekend and wasn't able to do it. Wanted to go see Spider-Man with him. I ended up going to see it today with the kids, though.
Okay.
Yeah, buddy.
Darwin, I don't know if you got a speaker on or something. One sec. And then also we have Mumia Obsidian Ali as well. What's going on, good sir?
Hey, what's going on, Jeff? What's going on, brothers? How y'all feeling?
Can't complain, man. Can't complain. So before we even jump into today's topic, man, I already see a quick super chat I'm going to click on. And everybody that's currently watching, wherever you're watching from, although we ask is that you like this, wherever you're watching from, make sure you send it and share it with at least 2 to 3 people. And feel free to become a subscriber and or member of our respective platforms. Shout out to O'Shea, Duke, Jackson for the I don't know what that currency is. We need to look it up.
Those are bushmeat bucks.
I believe that's the Kenyan. That's the Kenyan.
Kenyan. Okay.
Kenyan shilling. Yeah.
Shout out to O'Shea, man. Whichever platform he's watching from, and for the love and support, and everybody. Like we said, man. Whether if you want us to have a particular comment or question that you want us to make sure that we pay attention to, feel free to hit that super chat. Or if you just want to show love and support to the platform and program, man, we absolutely at the end, we definitely, I'm sure in the next week or two, are going to have some major announcements from many of us on this respective platform. So everybody, if you are watching, feel free to comment where you're watching from, or at least let us know where you're watching from, and let's see who's all in the building. So gentlemen, today's topic, well, at least one half of it, let me get this one off the screen, is Tuskegee University banning bonnets, do-rags, pajamas. A whole bunch of stuff is being banned. And as we saw earlier, it appears that there's a again, a disagreement amongst, I guess, different types of black folks and even some white people chiming in. What are your thoughts, man, about is this about trying to be like white people or or respectability politics, or is there should be a standard, or should they just be okay with not having a standard at all, not to deter students? What y'all all think? Give me True, Dave, anybody can jump.
I'll kick it off. Yeah, man. So shout out everybody. Yeah, so I think it's again getting away from this thing of because we've gotten too far away from it. Just a standard, a professional standard for a learning environment. You know, I mean, you pay a whole lot of money to go to these damn colleges and things anyway, right? And it's supposed to be training you to get ready for the workforce in the real world. So I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, hey, in the classroom setting, just like you know, hats and things and so on and so forth or whatnot, what have you, for the most part wouldn't be acceptable on the job. I mean, during the classroom setting, I don't think it's too far fetched, especially if they're seeing the you know, the faculty and the you know, the people that work. And I'm pretty sure what I don't think the younger people understand is they're getting feedback from the workforce. They're getting feedback from the you know, the people that are networking, and they're like, hey man, you know, your guy just showed up to this you know, Fortune 500 job interview, you know, with a do-rag on or something. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. I mean, you think it'd be crazy, but you know, things like that. So I just think it's brilliant in the basics and getting people prepared to let them understand, you know, there's a time and a place.
What about you, Dave?
Okay. As far as I know, I'm the only college professor on the panel. I am also a person that believes very highly in Black people, specifically foundational Black Americans, standing up and doing what we do best, which is excel. I do not think you should be judged by your clothes, because I think clothes are a different type of situation. But let me be very clear and very honest here. I paid the cost to wear whatever the hell I want. That's the reason I have on a Killmonger chain and a black t-shirt. I can afford to. I am a 23-time consecutive best-selling author. I just finished another research paper, and I'm working on a doctoral program right now. My issue is this. When I sent my daughter to Howard, I went to visit her, and we had lunch on campus, and I saw these kids, and they looked absolutely miserable. And they were dressed in really bad business suits and carrying briefcases, looked like they were cosplaying as what they were told business professionals looked like. Having said that, I walked right over to them and told them, you know, who and what I was and what I did. Having said that, my last name means a hell of a lot to me. My blackness means a hell of a lot to me. This is not the standard. Harriet Tubman wore a bonnet, but she was also freeing our people. I don't see anybody that anybody respects in the business world rocking a do-rag. The only time I was rocking one on camera was when I was growing my hair out. And as you see, I decided to cut my hair. It just became too much for me. This whole thing as if do-rags and bonnets are part of the culture. Fine, if that's part of your culture your ass to a university that's going to allow you to do that. Out here in the real world, too many people are not willing to go out here and suffer and eat ramen noodles for 6 months straight, not go without their cable or their $10 lattes, and still be entrepreneurs. If you want to be a worker bee, get your ass in the colony and bow down to whatever the queen tells you to do. And in this case, the queen is Tuskegee, and Tuskegee said, you're not doing that raggedy mess in the name of a prestigious university. You do not have to like the rules, and if you don't like the rules, go make your own. If you're not willing to do what I did in order to wear whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want, then you don't have a leg to stand on, because let's face it, even your tuition is not an escape from that, because let's face it, what, 75% of foundational Black American students are on some type of student aid, student loan program, whatever the case may be. So you're borrowing for the education that you want, and then you want to get a job on your terms, but that's not how the real world works. And that is the problem with a lot of these beta male sent manginas who are raising their children, or a lot of these baby mamas who have not had an opportunity to understand the importance of decorum. Everybody is about self as opposed to being about the business of being Black and successful. We like Black excellence, but we don't like to be excellent in everything we do as Black people. So y'all can miss me with this. I think it's absolutely asinine to try and fight for a bonnet, but you're not fighting for the fact that the majority of our children in public schools can't read on grade level. You're not fighting for the fact that 73% of all college graduates, regardless of age, sex, gender, race, are not working in the thing that they majored in. And then you wonder why your underwater basket weaving, subterranean communications crocodile fighting degree has not paid off for you. So you're going to school to please people and you're not worrying about school paying off for you. You're worrying about how to pay off school because you're dysfunctional. You have absolutely no skills, but you're going to be in a line talking about minimum wage. I need the minimum wage because you haven't developed any maximum skills. Y'all can miss me with all of that. So there it is. You either want to do what I did and suffer in order to sit up here and dress like a teenager, or you can conform to the rules that you decided to adhere to when you decided to accept the acceptance at Tuskegee.
Man, and real quick, True, before you jump in and everybody else, let me read a second super chat that we got. Brown Eyes, thank you for the $20. Hello, Dave and fellow members. I'm going to enjoy this. Absolutely, we appreciate it. And Jito Planet, thank you for the 2 jewels for 100. Thank you for that as well. True and everybody else, what y'all think, man?
Yeah, I second the sentiment that Dave, conveyed. It just goes to show that our community still focuses on a low vibrational components that try to make up our culture as a collective, instead of focusing on the things that actually move the culture forward, the community forward. No one's clamoring for, as was said, excellence. And I think that that's sometimes the disparity. We're still trying to figure out what our image looks like, because a lot of our image has been perpetuated through white media. But we're okay with it because on a casual basis, it's cool, the t-shirts and all those things, that is very much the community. Relax, chill, swaggy. But I think that we need to correct in the professional sector. What does that look like for us? You're going to school to become a professional. You're going to school to be respected for your mind and your skill set and your talents. So what difference does it make on what rap you have on your head? In my honest opinion, it's short-sighted and foolish, but it goes to show that it's a struggle between ideologies and identity. A rap shouldn't define you, in my opinion. Be respected for your talents. Be respected for your true contribution to your scholastic program and things post of that. So if you telling me that you don't know how to identify in the world as a Black person because you don't wear a do-rag, we got bigger issues. And I land.
Damn. What about the rest of y'all? Darren, you.
So my dad, he's a doctor, and he was always the very first Black anything everywhere he went. So he was very first Black head of his ward in the hospital. When he was in the military, he was the very first Black, doctor in that hospital. So when I was young, he always put it into our heads, look, your image matters, right? We have enough struggles, but you have to get rid of the ones that you can control, right? So pick your battles and don't add any struggles that you can basically choose to have. So like how you dress, right? You can control that, right? That's one of the things you don't have to add as a struggle to try and dress a certain way that might jeopardize something in your life, right? So that was kind of the mindset he put in me as a professional. And even now, where I work now, going through college and grad school and stuff, I've always been one of the only Black people, let alone Black males, in my area. All the other Black men that I work with are either security guards or maintenance men. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? But when I wear my suit, everyone looks at me crazy because I'm one of the only professional Black males there. And also, you remember Kevin Samuels. He was big for pushing the fact that image matters. He got a lot of pushback because he was saying, people shouldn't be judged by how we dress, but we are, right? And do you remember for that split second when Black men, we were posting ourselves wearing suits and there was a bunch of sisters saying that's misogyny? You guys remember that? Yeah. That somehow was hating women because we were wearing suits on Instagram And
Yeah. What he's referring
social
to
media.
is the Dallas. It was a
Mhm.
movement out of Dallas. I cannot recall the brother's name, but menswear, Dallas menswear, I believe it was called, or words to that effect. And he had gathered brothers at first locally in Dallas, Texas, but then it eventually became nationwide. They would go to city. Brothers would show up, almost sort of like a flash mob of sorts, but very peaceful. And it would be brothers from all walks of life, little boys, elder brothers. It would run the gamut. They will all get together. Mandy B and some other ladies uh got together. This is some years back, and they poo-pooed that. And they,
Someone
like
has
the
a
brother said, they tried to say it was a misogynistic move. They
there's an
also
echo.
questioned the motives of the brothers doing it. Just because you wear a suit doesn't mean you have money, you have your act together. There have been numerous, I'm very sad to say this, there have been numerous ladies who, since the advent of our long lost brother Kevin Samuels, have attempted to try to poo-poo the actual moves of black men to improve themselves. I mean, just really sit with this for a minute, because this is very important. We are actually attempting to poo-poo black men who are attempting to improve themselves, groom themselves better, be more diligent about their appearance, attempting to better themselves. We talk about the HBCUs. We're talking about Booker T. Washington, who literally founded the Tuskegee Institute, now the university, Tuskegee University. We're going to actually poo-poo black men trying to better themselves. There were actual black women. I don't take any pleasure in saying this. There were actually black women attempting to call our brother Kevin Dusty. How does that even work?
Yeah,
How does that work?
I forgot about
Kevin
that.
was immaculate, man. Whether you agree with him, whether you liked him or not, the brother was immaculate. We should all be so lucky to touch the hem of his garment. And that's how they're going to. There's something, and this isn't a black woman thing, because, with regard to tonight's topic, we all talked about him before. I'm trying to be very generous. Mr. Conscious Lee has attempted to make a similar argument that the do-rag issue is respectability, politics, etc. And he actually had the temerity to invoke W.E.B. Du Bois. I live right down the street from where W.E.B. Du Bois actually taught at the University of Pennsylvania. Let me tell you something, Mr. Conscious Lee. W.E.B. Du Bois, if he were alive today, he would not look favorably on the bonnet and the do-rag thing. You go back and read the Philadelphia Negro and see what he had to say about low-class black behavior and culture. He did not take a favorable view of that. And if you look at his own person, from his earliest, this is documented, you look at the photographs, when he was a young man, he was suited and booted. He was known for being suited and booted and very meticulous about his appearance. He was known for that all his life. Him, Booker T. Washington, he was another one. There is something, the HBCUs, and I don't take any pleasure in saying this.
Hold on, sir.
HBCUs are a reflection, sad to say, of a serious rot that has taken root in Black American life. I don't like it. I don't feel good about it. I'm not proud of it. Whether you went to a HBCU or not, whether you went to college or not, we all want to see the HBCUs do well. This is not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And AJ, go ahead, Megan. Go ahead.
I have a coworker who went to Tuskegee. She did her master's public health, and she said that she would never, if she can go back again, she wouldn't go. And she just said that the mismanagement, the executives, the deans, they're driving nice cars and all this other stuff. The student housing looks like the projects. So the money's there. It's just not going to where it's supposed to go. It's mismanagement. You know what I mean? So she said, and now that she and her husband have a child, she's like, she wouldn't send her daughter to Tuskegee unless something changes. So
Okay. Yeah, man. And I've heard the same. Everybody put the thing on mute. It says somebody has a bad echo. I don't know if you have your speaker on. Just turn it down if you can. I heard the same thing about Howard, believe it or not. That and I know probably 40 to 50 people who went to Howard, all of which are doctors. And I tell you, I heard some horror stories as well when it came to their housing as well. So I think that some of this is I love what a lot of you guys have said so far. But before Darwin and Mr. Fantastic come back through, let me read some of these super chats. Ghetto Gourmet, thank you for the $20. Stand on how you present or shut the F up. Respectfully, yesterday's price in society is not today's price. 25 zips. Appreciate you.
Quarter zips.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what that was at first. Quarter zips. There you go. Maverick Overlord. Thank you for the 10 jewels and the thumbs up. Gato or Gito, a planet again for the 10 jewels. Thank you for the gold coin. And for that also gold coin. And Draco Bakari, thank you for the $5. If you're going to bring up KS, bring up the fact that he didn't allow you to be on his channel with a bonnet on or lie in bed when on camera. Yeah, that's absolutely true. And before I say anything, I want to hear from the rest of you guys. So Darn, what you think?
So it just sounds like these people that are up in arms about this issue just haven't accepted professionalism, before they become professionals. There's a great deal of people that believe that before you take on a professional role, you need to act it out. You need to represent, embody it before you get there. And you just have a group of people that just haven't accepted that. Also, I would say, I'm going to assume, I can't say as a fact, but a lot of these people probably don't believe that, dressing professional is going to do anything, in terms of racial discrimination and stuff and being able to be looked at or taken serious. They probably seen it time and time again. Black people over the course of years dress professionally, look the part, blend, assimilate, whatever they got to do, and still end up with the crumbs of whatever you got to get in to win on a socioeconomic level. So they probably just don't have any belief in it, and they're like, I can wear a shirt and tie all I want. The systemic issue that we're going to suffer from is still going to exist. So I might as well just dress comfortably and wear what I want to wear. That's just what I see.
You're muted, Jeff.
What I was about to say is, I think that we have to start with this conversation about respectability politics and what the people who constantly use that term, what is it that they're actually communicating? When you say Black people doing anything that's perceived as an improvement or better is trying to be white, what does that mean? If you're attaching virtue and in class and doing things that maybe present you in a better light, or even a group you're a part of in a better light, if everything positive, everything that could be even just beneficial, anything that's good, that the community is you don't want to change, that's trying to be white. I'm gonna say, like, and I appreciate, Dave, how you, and I think a couple of you, and True, you said the same thing. We have functionally decided that Black people don't need to grow or do anything different. That's the conclusion I've come to doing this podcast and stuff for a year now. There actually is no area where Black people in mass need to change, adapt, grow, or do anything different, because every time one of these things are pointed out, it's respectability politics and y'all trying to be white. So in y'all worldview, that means us being better is reserved for trying to be adjacent to whiteness. And because we don't want to be white, we don't need to change or improve anything as Black people. We can show up and present. And I agree with what Darwin said. This starts with, what's his name? Delano Squires, when he said the vanishing Black family. I was reading his chapter 4 or 5, and he said a quote that I realized is so relevant to what we're discussing tonight. He said, They see black leaders like Bill Cosby, who publicly address values and social norms within the community, as pushing respectability politics, an accusation that always associates virtuous conduct with seeking acceptance from the white majority. The preoccupation with the thoughts, words, and deeds of white people is common amongst modern aristocrats, in large part because they believe that whites are both the cause and cure for the negative and social outcomes in Black America. So, in other words, what he's saying is, you're not actually allowed, when you're behind a microphone, to say anything. You're not supposed to have a standard. This is no different than black men and what they're going through with dealing with some black women. You're told to just accept things as is, but unfortunately, the real world don't work like that. I think the guys that we played earlier in the clip that was talking about you're scaring them off, or you're going to lose them, or it should just be about whether or not they're showing up or not. These men are socially and emotionally stunted because they're infantilizing grown-ass adults. And what's the number one thing that college is supposed to do when it comes to preparing you for the real world? It's that. It's supposed to prepare you. And these are the same groups of people that talk about respectability politics, but you're seeking a degree. You're talking about respectability politics, but you're seeking a degree to use in capitalism, to work for a system.
Yeah, it's.
I don't know.
Well, I was saying, Jeff, that it's war, right? Working, being out here, especially as black men, we're in a fight, right? We are. And by them infantilizing, especially young black men, and saying that you can wear do-rags and stuff, wear them at home, fine, but wear them in your job or anywhere else. It's like you have a fighter who you're sending out to the ring and you're not teaching them how to fight. You have him in the gym, you don't have him spar, you don't have him work out, and you send him out in the world, he's going to get knocked out. We have to prepare, especially young black men, and say, look, this is the game. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to choose to work in corporate America or whatever, this is what the rules are. You don't got to like them. If you want to change them, maybe get to one day where you're a lawyer, start your own firm. Let dudes wear do-rags in your own firm. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're starting out. When you're 24, 25, you just graduate, you can't go to some job and tell them what you gonna do. But when you're older, when you're like Dave and you're accomplished, you can do whatever the hell you want to do. But my issue is now we have these young people who feel like you can't tell me anything, and I'm going to go everywhere and tell them what I'm going to do, and then wonder why they're not successful.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem too. I think it's a generational aspect, especially when we're talking about Gen Z and Gen Alpha, as to where they've been told. I think they call it time something. It's a time disease, a being on time disease they got now, or something that they claim.
Time blindness.
Yeah, time. There we go. Time blindness, and being on time is whiteness, and the rules are whiteness, and Jeff, like you said, all this stuff is whiteness, and it's just like, bro, what about just order, discipline, and just common sense things being the right way? And I just think this latest generation, man, they don't want to work hard. Everybody wants to go to Streamer University. That's the university they really want to go to. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to be at Tuskegee. They don't want to be at Howard. They don't want to be at Harvard. They want to be in Kai Cenat's motherfucking dorm doing whatever, right? Making easy money. And it's just like you said, that's the worst part of it, man. And I despise this so much, as to where, like you said, Jeff, according to the black community, we're perfect, right? And if any imperfection that we have is because of the white man. But if we want to make the imperfections, well, now we're trying to be the white man, which is a conundrum and an oxymoron you can never get out of, right? It's just a never ending cycle. So it's just so many things, man. And I think this is why I say, man, I really hate when people push the whole white supremacy thing and so on and so forth, when there's nothing that a white man can stop me from doing in this country, bro, in the world, actually, right? Nothing whatsoever. Like, I'm living proof of it. Like, so I operated and was successful in the most whitest institution of them all. Okay, the United States military. So if I can make it up out of there, you can definitely figure it out in college.
Mm-hmm. And one of the guys on the earlier clips that we were listening to, he said something along the lines of like, well, I know that, I wore it 70% of the time. I wore a do-rag in class, but when it was time to go for an interview, I knew to not come. I knew how to dress, and I'm trying to let this brother know, brother, if you ain't been hiring in a while, if you ain't been working in the inner city, if you don't see how people are showing up to interviews, if you don't see how people are showing up now to courtrooms, to funerals, restaurants are now having to have dress codes. Establishments are now coming up with dress codes that they know we're not going to be able to pass. These people are being socialized in college, in high school, to think that this is normal, so that they think the judge is the one that's being weird. The hiring managers are the bosses that's trying to address it. What you have to go home and change? Why would I got to change? What's wrong with it's the fact that it's even a conversation. So you're infantilizing these people, these young people, when you're telling them they can dress however they want in all settings. This is the same argument when it comes to dressing like prostitutes, and we're supposed to treat them like virgins. Does that make sense? Dave, what you about to say, brother?
I'm not trying to be funny, but if you look at any of the clips you showed in the beginning of this, Jeffrey, I didn't see any testosterone. I saw a lot of beta energy. I'm not even being funny right now. Like, we have to have a conversation about manhood. And that doesn't mean that I'm sitting up here act like some type of alpha man, super bro. But what I am saying is there is a level of responsibility. Whether I am sick, whether I am tired, whether I am depressed, I have people whose lives depend on me performing. When you do not have the ability to be responsible and accountable, you cannot function in society. That is beta energy. Well, I'm wearing my do-rag, and I wore a do-rag right before I came on the show. It ain't on now is it? The other part of that is I dress how I want to dress when I want to dress, but I understand the rooms that I'm in when I'm going in there. When I got my first Forbes article, I wasn't wearing a t-shirt. When I was an Entrepreneur magazine, I wasn't wearing a t-shirt, because I respect where I was. When I met 4 presidents, I wasn't wearing a t-shirt. I am sick and tired of people acting like low-level thinking, low vibrational thinking, this love and hip hop, Andy Cohen, loving basketball, love is blind, pop the balloon BS is going to carry you Negroes. And it's not. And that's why nobody takes a lot of us seriously, because the ones of us who sit up here, even Malcolm said this, it'll get to a point where good people are made to look evil and evil people are made to look good. We start shooting for ratchetry. Y'all sat up there and y'all platform people who don't make any sense. When Sydney Starr destroyed Chingy's career, we ain't say nothing. Now Sydney Starr is out here plugging little boys, allegedly. It's beta male energy. It is crazy town, and you have let the Joker run Arkham Asylum, and you're now mad at Batman for putting him back? Like, your thinking is off. The other part of that is none of these people have ever signed the front of a check. They're busy trying to sign the back of ones. They're actually taking out more student loans so they can go to the mall or go online and buy some stuff so they can impress people while they walk to class late. People know if you come to my class late, you're gonna be. What's my man? Close the doors. Close the door. Lock the doors.
Lock the doors.
I'm not playing that. You want to know why? My grandfather had a 6th grade education. He had 7 children. Each one of them, with the exception of my aunt, who worked for the state and retired in a big old house in Orlando, have at least a master's degree, if not a doctorate. My mother went to an HBCU. She went to Cheney University, and she got her graduate degree from the University of Pennsylvania. So you got HBCUs, Ivy Leagues. My uncle was a teacher at MIT, was one of the team that invented the Jumbotron. I come from a certain level of excellence that when you see me, and I am not perfect, I am not some type of, moral authority on anything, because I'm a fallible human being, and I've always copped to that, unlike Roland. The difference is these people out here think that it's okay to just do whatever they want to do with absolutely no consequences. That is not how the world works. And by the way, I am so tired of black people talking about white supremacy. Jeff, do me a favor. You're a clinician. From your interaction with me, can you tell me the white man who's supreme over me?
I haven't found one yet. Other than
what about Darwin? Is there a white man supreme over Darwin? Fantastic,
I
True,
know of.
Mamiya. What about you, Jeff? Did you find the white man that's holding you back?
Nah.
Because I'm dyslexic, I got dyscalculia, I got a speech impediment, and I speak all over the world. I'm trying to understand why people who have none of my issues can't get their ass to class and do what they signed up to do. That is beta. And campaigning for the lowest level will get you beneath where you're trying to go. But don't mind my listen to me.
Now, real quick, before everybody else jump in, real quick, I want to read
Am I
some.
better now, Jeff?
Yeah, I
Is
want to
the
read
echo
some.
gone? Okay.
Yeah, I
thank
want to
you.
read some of these
Sorry,
super
guys.
chats real quick. David Dixon, thank you for the 1999 as a Tuskegee University alumni, class of 2018. Shout out to this brother, man, an engineer.
Electrical engineer.
Electrical engineer at that. I can tell you a dress code already was in effect, specifically for class. It had to get really bad for our president to come out and make this code. Wow. True, what was you about to say to this?
Just to kind of segue from what Dave was sharing, yeah, I think the collective is not, the white man has not been the issue, not for a long time, in my opinion. I think what we're witnessing now is those of us who choose to raise the standard demands the standard. And to demand the standard means that the those who do not subscribe to the progression of that standard are going to clamor to keep us from now having to grow and arrive in the world as adults, have responsibility, as one was stating. I think that is what we're fighting. The enemy's never been on the outside. It's internal now. It's to
Can I
those who
say-
look just like you.
Can I
So
say
if you
something,
were...
True, after you finish? Go ahead, True.
Say that again, Darwin. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to ask you a question after you got finished.
Oh, no, go for it.
What it seems like black people know what the white man prefer us to look like in terms of appearance and image. And I think when black people completely rebel against it, I think that little bit of rebellion gives them the sense of freedom, as if they're still fighting a war on conforming to, the chains of slavery or whatever. Just some type of resistance give them a sense of satisfaction that, hey, look, I'm still in this fight. I'm not gonna do it. I think that's where that comes from. I can't pinpoint anything else. I do know, I think it's all safe to say that we all can look at all of us on this panel right now. And if a white man came in here and chose, would he prefer, what would you prefer a black man to look like as far as image and appearance? He probably would say Ali, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if we asked him, who would you not want him to look like? No shade to you, Jeff. You look more hood than anybody today,
Hey.
ironically. So we do know there is an image that some may call the white master wants the black man to look like. And it might be just because of his own insecurity and he feels safe whenever we do look more like Ali. That's subjective. That's a loophole argument. But I think that, again, that little bit of rebellion that black people are able to get gives them a sense of satisfaction that I'm free from the chains because I'm not acquiescing to the appearance and the image that you want to portray me to be. That's just what I'm starting to see.
You may be onto something. I think it's still juvenile. I think that's like your child living in your house and not taking out the trash and then feeling like they have a standard of sorts while I'm sustaining you. So you are rocking a do-rag and you're being combative with your little petition of sort, but then you still want white dollars, you want white respect from a, corporate perspective, you want to drive white vehicles, whatever, it's laughable. I don't disagree with you though. I do think that we still have a lot of black people who do not choose to grow up. And that's why I'm saying I think the battle is maybe on two sides. Maybe it is
I
the
agree with you. I
rebellious.
think it's an immature boycott. If none
Well,
of
my issue,
if anything,
is that let's just say Darwin has a law firm, and then some white dude has a law firm. There's some of us who will dress up for the white man's firm, but then see that Darwin owns it, and then not dress up because we don't hold each other to that high standard. We see, oh, this is black owned, so we don't have to do said standard because it's us. And that's harmful too, because how are we supposed to compete as business owners, as CEOs or whatever, if we can't hold our employees, especially those of us who want to employ people who look like us, have that same standard. If a client comes into the firm, right, that Darwin owns, he wants to say, look, everyone's professional, everyone's dressed good in the same way that Steve over there does it, right? But then you'll have people who be like, oh, Darwin, man, what's up with that? You make me, you'll take my do-rag off. It's like, yes, I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make money over here.
You know what? I'm glad he brought that up because I think that sounds like what they did to Kevin Hart on Soul Plane, right? How all the black people saw that. Oh, that's a nigga. You know, we just gonna go in here and original shenanigans, right?
Yo, but Darwin and AJ, what y'all revealed, now that I think about it, what y'all revealed is we have such a lowered bar of expectations for our own. Not meaning the people on the panel, but you get the people who are constantly having this argument that this is why you think anything better than what we're currently doing is white. I was like, that is the ultimate form of white supremacy to me. Is that you have a view of low expectations in all areas when you don't now. I don't know if y'all peeped. One or two states they're trying to see if they can pass African American vernacular as a curriculum.
California
California is the first state that's trying to pass it where they can write. Darwin, I think that's you with your speaker. What was I about to say? They're trying to pass it so that it could dumb down the expectations, so these students can get away with writing and using slang all throughout. I'm like, this is not going to help you in a bunch of different domains and spaces. So it's that they're lowering the bar of expectations when it comes to black people, and it's setting us up for sabotage in the future.
Jeff, real quick, I want to make a point. Of course, it's happening in California. You're talking about the governor of California, and when he was running, he said he was going to lower the homelessness. Then, when he started doing his soft launch campaign for the presidency of the United States, he sat down with yet another beta and said, I'm not trying to impress you. I'm trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. He automatically came off like black people's standard is stupidity, ignorance, and an inability to be well read, well educated, well spoken. That in and of itself tells you absolutely everything. You will know the tree from the fruit that it bears. This is what happens. You got these white liberals all over the place playing in our face. Look at every single densely populated black area and go look at their test scores. I'm talking about in public schools, whether that's Atlanta, Georgia, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Baltimore, Maryland. I could do this all day. LA, the only place that is the exception to that rule is San Francisco and Fresno. So when you look at Gavin Newsom's state, this is exactly what they're talking about. Now, if you want to talk about something that is bigoted, that's what that is. Is it white supremacist? No, but it is racist as hell. But we tolerate it, but we're up in arms about do-rags. Make it make sense to me. That's it. I ain't got nothing else to say until we talk about Roland. I'm good.
I just don't know like why that would be the hill that you want to die on. You got all these things to worry about, and you're gonna seriously fall on that sword. It doesn't make any sense, guys. I've never had to do rag. My dad was very like, yo, you gotta have a certain look. So this is kind of alien to me, but I think the point about the AAVE, back to that, we're old enough to remember it in the 90s when they tried to do the Ebonics thing. They've tried this already. Why is it that foreigners come here and they have to do ESL? They have to learn correct English, but they're going to take the only kids in the school who don't have to learn it are black kids. And if that doesn't tell you all you need to know for these California politics, and that doesn't sum up everything that white liberals think about black people. And I quote that idiotic New York governor. You remember? Their black kids don't even know what computers are.
Oh yeah, what was her name? Was it Hochul?
Hochul,
yeah.
Kathy Hochul.
Kathy Hochul, yeah. Art for Papers, $9.99. Tuskegee Business Class, 0910. Required ties, banned polos, Zuckerberg and fellow billionaires skip suits entirely. Professionalism is usually pitted against black attire, even hairstyles. And this
what is black attire?
So again, it has like in my head. Whose thing is still up? My bad.
I think I don't know why it's me. I think it's me, but I clicked my thing. I don't know what's going on.
I think you're fine. I think you're fine. Yeah, but here's the issue. You can't have it both ways. You cannot have it both ways. You cannot say on one hand, I should be able to wear what I want, dress how I want, do what I want, and then if and when opportunities don't work in your life, or you get overlooked for somebody that is playing the game, and say, well, the reason why they didn't choose me was because of this. And then number two, if the system is what you all claim it is, put yourself in a position to be able to do exactly what Dave Zuckerberg and all these other individuals you're referencing are talking about. Y'all want to play this game of, well, we're in a racist system and we're not gonna do this or do that. That's conform. Like again, hear the logic. Hear the logic. If you're saying that dressing down, not dressing up, is being black and not conforming to a white system, but you're pointing at examples of white people who are also dressing down, is dressing up now conforming to a billionaire white system? Because apparently not. So apparently there's some white people that get away with it and some white people that probably can't. There's some black people that can probably get away with it depending on the industry they work in. There's some black people that can't. But when you're setting the bar at all black people who are going to these institutions, when you're setting the bar so low academically, when it comes to reading level, when it comes to how they speak, when it comes to how they dress, what tends to happen is when they try to enter into some of these spaces and they get overlooked and they become deviants or they're selling their body on the internet and then now they're killing us on the back end because they got the student loan debt. Our taxes are compensating for what they didn't make up for, what they're taking from the society. We're arguing that, listen, man, we're not in Wakanda. You have to figure out what's your lane going to be. But y'all got to get past this whole idea of you're trying to be like Zuckerberg, who ain't dressing up. If you're trying to dress up and you're trying to be white adjacent when you're using actual examples of white people not doing the thing that you're saying we're trying to do by trying to be white. Like, come on, man.
And by the way, just quickly, the whole point about Mark Zuckerberg, because we hear this a lot too at the Black Manosphere Conclave. For the record, Zuckerberg gets suited and booted when he has to testify before Congress.
Boom.
There are photographs.
Exactly.
You can look them up online. When he has to appear in the People's House, not the White House, but the U.S. House of Representatives, and he's being grilled by congressmen and women. He's not sitting there with a t-shirt, tie-dye t-shirt, and some cargo shorts and flip-flops. He is with a dark business suit, tie and shirt every single time.
So you saying, hold on. So you're saying even a billionaire understood time and place. That's what you're telling me?
Exactly.
Real quick, I gotta say this. When people talk to Mumia's point, when people talk about Zuckerberg dressing crazy and all that stuff when he was trying to get funding for Facebook, so on and so forth, came down to an act. Gene Roddenberry did it when he was trying to get money for Star Trek. That's what those white boys do. The other part of that is there's not a person on this panel that has not had a Facebook page, does not have an Instagram, so on and so forth. So if you've got world-changing, multi-countless billions of dollars of value, nobody gives a goo-god fart how you dress.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Are you doing any of that?
You're a billionaire.
Yeah.
If you're not doing any of that, shut your hole, because you're using an example that you can't even come close to measuring up to. Hell, I got my own app right now. It's called Jaro Go, and you can get it right now on the App Store, both Apple and Android. But the thing of it is, I don't see y'all paying developers for a damn thing. I didn't see you code a damn thing. I didn't see you come up with anything that is revolutionizing the world. Jeff Bezos can dress however the hell he wants. You want to know why? He made rocket ships. The late Steve Jobs could wear a pair of really bad mom jeans and a turtleneck because he created the iPhone. What are you creating other than nonsensical memes on TikTok and stupid ass dances and beta male arguments about do-rags? This is what we're dealing with. These are the people who are going to bury us when we're old. I'm not impressed, respectfully.
And exactly to Obsidian's point, man, like even the very people they're going to use, we're going to find them in certain settings and certain venues wearing suits. So they figured out time and place when it's effectual. And again, if you're black in a racist system and you're trying to put yourself in a position to be taken seriously, there are certain industries where they're more lax when it comes to tattoos, when it comes to, and again, me working in mental health, I saw it, I saw the different way. I even saw the shift of how I was being treated when I decided to cut my locks off. Now I could try to go against the grain and try, but I saw the night and day difference. And so, and again, it's still a personal choice to me, but I think we got to start rooting our blackness strictly along the lines of whether or not whether or not you're allowed to sag your pants, whether or not you wear something that you sleep in. It's supposed to be a protective style to help your hair stay looking nice, so that it looks nice when you come out in public. And we don't get to see the hair because you still, man. High Vibe 01. What we got? Thank Temple University alumni here. Thank you for the $20. The issue is poor housing. Students are being put up in hotels. TU or Temple University costs
Tuskegee.
Oh, that's Tuskegee. Okay, 1 second, because it's still Tuskegee University's $30K a year. Students are saying there is no durag bonnet issue. The admin is throwing students under the bus to protect their image. Listen, I don't against this. I hate to break it to you, but if you've been anywhere near HBCU in the last 5 years, this is not unusual. I saw this as a problem at PWIs. So, and seeing what we're seeing in a lot of the schools on the lower levels, I wouldn't be shocked about this. And again, there was another alumni who said the exact opposite. But appreciate you for the $20 support nonetheless. Mike Trimmer, thank you for the $199. None of this will ever change until the black community comes together as a whole and denounce ignorance and low-level behavior. That's not happening, brother. That's not happening, brother. There will never be a whole anything. If they couldn't do it during Martin's time, they couldn't do it during Malcolm's time. They had the gambit of options of who to get behind, and about 20% picked which person they was going to get behind, and that was it. So at this point, I'm in the camp of there's going to be a percentage that's going to get their wake up call. There's going to be a percentage that takes advantage of the opportunities of being an American or just being here. It starts at home with language as simple as words like ask or ask. The ratio is clear. For every 1 KS, there's 100 Glocktaviuses who are having more kids. Oh, shit. Oh, man. Thank you, sir, for the support for the $199. Who else we got? Tequila Sippa. I got hired in a German company wearing a do-rag and exposed tattoos on both arms. They pay me $34 an hour. My work ethic, King's English, and excellency is what they bought into when it comes to me. And kudos to you, brother, but you is not everybody.
Yeah.
And number two, and this is the scary part. You see how he emphasized his work ethic. You see where his bar was at the work ethic. His line was at King's English. His line was at quote unquote excellency in terms of whatever that looks like. You do know there's black people that would say those very things you listed off is trying to be white adjacent.
White. Especially King's English.
Just because you drew the I wear a do-rag and I got tattoos. Okay, but there's every metric that you're listing off of why you got hired. There's a black person that's going to complain and saying we shouldn't even have to do all that. And that's the point we're making. You have the standard for the work ethic. I've had to let black people go because they forgot that you're not allowed to fall asleep at work. I've had to let people go because they forgot you had to show up to work, or that you can't just wear what you want. Come on now, like what brother. Kudos.
He probably the maintenance man in the basement. That's probably
no. There's a bunch. Listen.
Not for $34 an hour.
No, you could be an IT and wear a lot of what you want, but you have to be
not for $34 an hour. No damn maintenance.
Well, IT in the basement. The technicians down there that come fix shit when the shit break.
Oh man, Shane Michael Talks, 1999. Appreciate the contact, Philly. I was just saying I can't catch a live, and now I caught one. You brothers and everybody, I got 800 people concurrently watching. So if you all do something very simple, make sure you like this. Make sure you're subscribed and supporting all the men that you see on this platform. And last but not least, make sure y'all share it with at least 2 to 3 people. Caught one. You brothers keep having these conversations. Grown folks only. Hashtag and still. And then the last few. Ghetto Gourmet, thank you for the $20. Respectfully, what happens is often that our influencers have no clue about the principles of influence and persuasion. Dr. What is that? Cialdini and Dr. Lombardo. I need to look those people up. I'm not sure who that is. But thank you, sir, for the $2 for sure. Gito or Gato Planet, thank you for the 2 jewels and 100 as well. Construct Icon, thank you for the $199. Let's Grow Like Groot from the Root Black Men for sure. 26 Social Butterfly, thank you for the 10 jewels. Hiding. Lincoln Ward, thank you for the 5. If your child is in college and not versatile enough to meet a simple dress requirement, you failed as a parent. Damn. And I'll even argue this. If the first time you're hearing this is in college, that is a reflection of poor parenting and preparing your child for the real world. Now, again, if your expectations is that your child is not going to make it outside of the, 20-minute radius from the house, especially if they live in an urban setting, that's cool, I think. But if you're planning on your child going on, like the drawback of HBCUs, and I've been to some, and I won't name particular ones, some of them that are a drawback is the ones that do not emphasize what we're talking about tonight, they're not preparing many of their students for the real world. Because when these students leave, the most Black people who are going to be the most tolerant of you being able to wear whatever you want and come in and however you want is in that space. By the time you leave that space of all that infantilization and coddling, I'll phrase it this way. I've had people from Lincoln University that applied. I had white coworkers around me, and we all had to look at 20 to 30 resumes at a time. And I have heard them say, and I came to the conclusion as well, when it comes to mental health, we will not be even calling or interviewing anyone from Lincoln University based off of how the interviews went and based off of how they presented themselves. Whole university gone. Don't care about masters and whatever. It's clear they're not preparing y'all to be ready on day one in terms of what professionalism is and looks like. We decided as a team, both individually and collectively, we don't hire from Lincoln University. Not for this particular. Now, unless it's a bachelor's level, if they got an associate's, we'll consider it because the expectation of what we're looking for from people who's handling people's mental health and being a representation of the agency and company. No. I'm telling you that. And I'm telling you that on the other side as a hiring manager. They would.
You know what's
go ahead, question.
You know what's wild, Jeff? As we were talking, you know what the security guards wear at the fashion houses out here in California, and most of them, if not all of them, are Black.
What?
They wear suits and tie. You can't walk into a Tiffany & Co., a Bottega, a Louis, and there's Black people. Literally, like 90% of the time, Black people that are security, but they in suit and tie as security guards. This is blasphemous, but
nah, man.
The first guy.
Daniel Manning. ACU. Thank you for the $99.99. Real dope show and topic. Gentlemen, keep it going. Brothers gonna work it out. Salute, Dave. Thank you, sir, for the $99.99. Jeff St. James's loud voice. Thank you for the $2. When I was in Ghana, they had the same issues. Yeah, man. Medium EE. Thank you for the 5. It's called the soft bigotry of. I couldn't get it for the life of me. The soft bigotry of low expectations. I have heard this a million times, and it's absolutely true. And I think this is unfortunately an example of it. So thank you, Medium E, for that. Feather Moon. Thank you for the $2. I'm from California, and Dave was cooking facts for sure. Absolutely. Essential. What is it? Entities. Thank you for the $10. Peace and blessings to the family. Salute the truth 100%. And last few agency headquarters, $5. Blessed to see 41 Summers. Salute to the entire panel. Count my blessings and can't wait for more blessings to come. Thank you, brothers. Spartacus Jackson, $9.99. My alma mater, Morehouse College, installed a similar dress code enforcement 18 years ago before smartphones. That policy still made headlines, but not like Tuskegee. COVID era made bonnets too normal. You know what? I do think 2020 definitely changed the game of, and again, because so many people started working from home, it changed how people perceived what they need to do. And the problem is like, if you don't know the environment that you work in to know whether or not you need to show up in a particular way and you just assume, it can cost you opportunities. It can cost you getting hired. It can cost you getting promoted. And I don't think now again, if you're very sure of a certain environment where they're fine with it, that's one thing. But not every it's the time and place. Time and place. Sire. Thank you for the 1999. I'm glad fellas are standing up for this. When you don't fight, standards go away. Absolutely. Look at the church. Look at hip hop. Anything goes. Look at relationships. Salute in standing against the normalization of ratchetness. Sup, fan? And panel. Appreciate you, good brother, for the support for sure. Still human made. $20 ban do-rags and bonnets. Calling it rebellion versus oppression is a weak boycott. Real power. Damn. Learn a non-colonial second language and build companies, cars, hotels that keep our dollars circulating, not fashion statements. Yeah, man. I really, really, really want the people that are telling the younger people and people that don't know any better that you don't have to change anything about yourself to get to do business or do work with other people. That's not the real world. Like, it's a transaction where there's expectations on both sides. And I don't think you realize, like, even the places that if 9 times out of 10, if you're going to college, more than likely you're not starting off going into business for yourself. It means you're trying to work for someone else. So if you're not familiar with this, if you don't do an internship, if you don't ask older people who know better, and you're asking your peers and people who, like Dave is saying, Jesus, man, y'all setting folks up for failure. Still human made. Think of it at 10. Sounds morbid, but real gains in Black self-esteem, group trust, and high level economic competition may require certain generations to age out before stronger cultural norms can take hold. The problem is, bro, we talking about Gen Z now. We're talking about Gen Z now, where, this is not just the problem of the older folks who are part of the issue. It's younger people as well who unfortunately have this mindset. Trackstar, thank you for the $10. Please talk about sagging pants too, man. I still see grown men sagging their pants. It's so embarrassing. I tell the cleaners when you do it, they see me as doing it too, and I'm a lead avionics engineer. Damn. And then Alpha J, thank you for the $199. Mandatory 3-year National Guard reserves everyone. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but thank you for the $199 nonetheless. Now, gentlemen, to our final half of the show real quick. Roland Martin, Dave's favorite topic for this evening. Hold on, is anybody on the panel not unfamiliar with what was going on? What came out with Roland last week?
I'm vaguely familiar with it. I heard about it in passing by way of Miss Tasha K.
Swollen colon rolling.
And there was a number of things that she had said that she alleged with regard to Mr. Martin. And then before coming on the air tonight, I saw something else, and another gentleman that I'm not familiar with. He, I guess you could call it, reported some additional information. So that's the extent of it for me.
Okay. Well, let me see which one we're gonna start with first. All right, Tasha K reported, allegedly, it's absolutely insane that I just received stills from a video allegedly showing Roland Martin inside a woman's home, not his wife's, laid out on her bed, appearing to be pegged. The fact that cameras are set up in the room, the fact that he allegedly sent her pictures of himself in his G-string. This is only the beginning. I wish I could unsee this. Yeah, we've reached out to his team and are waiting for a response. Everything is allegedly, even my name is allegedly. And she continues, update. Roland Martin's team has confirmed to my team that the stills I received from him appearing naked in the woman's home, that's not his wife, are 100% authentic. He says he is being extorted. Now, mind you, she's referenced and said in those same stills where he apparently was quote unquote naked, that he was also getting pegged. Now, apparently he didn't speak to that part. And it says he is being extorted. He also proposed that he would be suing if we or any other blog disseminates these hilarious ass images of him appearing to be in a leopard print thong. I'll be breaking down everything. Oh, yeah. Now, just to hear her kind of break it down briefly. Oh, my God.
Martin's Lori says, hi, Tasha, this is James Bryant, Roland Martin's attorney. I spoke with Gary Bernstein, who's my manager, this morning briefly about the Roland Martin story that you planned on discussing. And he let me know it was best to speak to you directly because they know to come to me. He said, I do believe he relayed to you some of what we discussed with regard to my client being involved in a revenge extortion scheme for the past 2 years, okay? And being unlawfully and secretly recorded by the woman and her accomplice. Apparently, this guy and that woman worked together, and per her, she did this on behalf of the gentleman.
Wow.
He's saying that this guy here, Lamont Clayton, who you can find on Instagram under Lamont Clayton, is, I guess, has extorted plenty of celebrities. And one celebrity that they pointed out that he extorted and was successful with was Jamie Foxx. Who do you want to speak about?
Rolanda Martin. Let's talk about her. You know what? 2026 is the year of these like so-called black elites who be like trying to talk down on the black community and, you know, be all these political shills and stuff like that. They are all finding out. Like you saw what happened with the one who's supposed to be Florida governor.
Andrew Gillum.
Yeah, and then Charlemagne and the Breakfast Club and stuff like that. All of them are getting exposed for the people that they really are. And now with Roland Martin, much deserved, because I've been sick of him for a long time. And even like, I'm going to say this for those who know me, so I can't name
down in real time with Roland Martin. So my management team used to work with him. They was like, well, do you really need to tell him? I said, yeah, he needs to know that this is coming out. And they called him and he didn't deny. We just got word back. He said that he's aware of it. The videos are somewhat old and he's being extorted. Okay, girl.
Also, Dusty pegging. Okay. All right. My bad.
First of all,
What you mean is disingenuous? We lying?
My bad. Wrong. Gentlemen, let's start with Mr. Fantastic. Seeing his face. What y'all think about your boy Roland Martin doing the having the feet facing the ceiling? What you think about that?
Hey man, Lamborghini door legs never a good thing, man. You know, roly poly oly, and they've been saying it for quite some time. I actually covered this the day after it came out, man, and you know, Roland is too rotund to be that flexible in the knees. That's just never a good thing. A nigga that don't work out, but he can bounce on, you know, like pause. It's just all bad, right? We've always said this about how you know, Roland had a certain you know, air about himself. You feel me? He had a certain, you know, vibe, as the young kids like to call it, right? You know, he's kind of built like a stud. So anytime I see a man that's built, you know, very, very hippie and very, you know, not solid at all, is questionable. But yeah, man, it's bad. And the Poetic Flacco is the guy I think Obsidian was talking about. He was very descriptive. I don't know what version he saw, but I never want to see it. Okay, whatever version Poetic Flacco saw and described in great detail, I never want to see. This is one leak I do not want to see. Okay, because it's very bad. And I think it's time that Roland to serve his purpose in the black community. You know, keeping you know, the good old black folks on the Democratic plantation and so on and so forth. But again, like I said, Roland Martin, Andrew Gillum, you know, there's a trend here of these liberal men pushing these liberal policies, you know, liking punishment in their, you know, in their nether regions. So yeah, man, this is very, very sad, you know, and again, man, prayers go out. I didn't know his wife is a pastor. His wife is a preacher. I didn't know this. Tasha K informed me of this. Yes, the doctor, whatever his wife is a pastor.
I wonder if they use anointing oil. What rest of y'all think? Go ahead, Dave. Go ahead, Dave.
That's nasty.
Oh man.
Is it my turn yet?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember a few months ago, not too long after we started this show, y'all laughed because I had a song called "iPad Cheeks" about your boy. Y'all laughed at me. Somebody said it was a bridge too far. I'm reminded of a great poet laureate from Greenville, North Carolina, named P.D. Pablo, who famously said, "I told y'all it was bound to happen, but y'all wouldn't listen to me." This is the same man who went on record and ran from people like me, Vince Everett Ellison, anybody who would have a substantive conversation with him about the way that he has sold out the Black community. Everything with you can't, and what is due for self. You picking on people who are younger than my oldest child about telling Black men to do the things we talked about in the last segment. Shout out to King Randall. This is the same person that sat there and was turning his nose down at everybody in the Black community as if he was some pillar. I tell people all the time, I'm a supervillain. I am far from perfect. So if somebody got something to say about me, I already told y'all I wasn't perfect. So now what you got? That's what you're supposed to do. But notice, he didn't get in front of the narrative. Obviously, the narrative got behind him and pegged him. Aside from that, this is what happens when you're sitting there trying to call people simple Simons and this, that, and the third. And here's the truth of the matter. Now, let's put on our tinfoil do-rags for a minute, shall we? Could it be that the second that Roland Martin stopped towing the Democratic National Committee's talking points, and the Democratic National Committee's bankrupt at this point, literally, because I mean they blew $1 billion some odd in 107 days. Shouts out to you, Kamala. And the Roland's favorite butter biscuits started drying up. He started talking about, "Hey, baby, we need to vote for the couch." This, that, and they said, "Oh no, you're not. Oh no, you're not." Then all of a sudden, the leopard thongs started showing up. Jeff, I sent you a few things to your text. I don't know if you saw those or not, but it is important to note that this man has been doing absolutely everything to talk about how we're going to be back in chains and we don't have voting rights and this, that, and the third. Now, Tasha K might not be willing to show you the photographic evidence. And Poetic Flacco was a little too excited to show you the photographic evidence. But as a journalist, you know, I have sent Jeffrey what my team has found, and it is not pretty. If you have small children, if you have decided to operate heavy machinery, you know, listen, I warn you ahead of time. This is not going to be pretty. But
So
Roland, I'm sorry that this has happened to you, but it could not have happened to a worse tether mouth butter biscuit coon, not unlike yourself, sir.
Oh my God. So first of all,
Jeff, I'm sorry, Jeff. You had to see it. If I had to see it, you had to see it.
Oh my God. Hold on.
Oh my God. Oh. My God. He's on his iPad again, looking at cheeks.
So I thought that this would be appropriate. Some of you may have heard of this before, but I'll read it briefly. I've seen your picture, your name in lights above it. This is your big debut. It's like a dream come true. So you won't smile for the camera.
This nigga got his hands in his
I
skin.
know that there's
He got his hands in his skin pockets.
He got pockets in his leg.
It says here, I like your
it is crazy.
I'll keep it in your letter. Done up in blueprint blue. It sure looks good on you. And when you smile for the camera, I know I'll love you better. Peg, it will come back to you. Peg, it will come back to you. Then
Lord.
He got a
and you'll
he got
see
a
it all
drawstring
in
in his
3D. It's your favorite foreign movie. That's the song, the classic song, Peg by Steely Dan. By the way, did you know that Michael McDonald actually sang on that song? Peg?
I did not know that.
Yeah,
you know, my favorite character on Married with Children was Peggy Bundy.
Yeah.
Look at this picture of Roland, guys.
So
He's
bad.
speaking his native Huttese. He's a Haitian Hut. I didn't even know that.
No, Haitian. It's crazy work. Crazy work. True.
I had to do it.
True. Darwin, man. Tell what's going on, man. What y'all think, man?
My God.
I'm just here for the show,
First
bro.
of all, I know these is AI, right?
He said, "I'm just here so I don't get fined."
We can neither confirm nor deny that these pictures are authentic. They came anonymously through cover of night. As soon as I got them, I sent them over to Jeff as a responsible journalist. So these may or may not be true. Parental discretion is advised.
So y'all ain't surprised that he's participating in this particular activity, right?
No, because he got busted looking at man cheeks on his live stream. Was it last year or the year before?
He was
Remember?
watching cheeks on his
2024.
iPad.
Yeah, 2024. And then he's trying to, what happened was it was one of my no. Come on, man. Come on.
Dar, what you think about this situation and him not his team not denying the accuracy of it being him in these still shots?
What you mean the peg thing? Stealing Dan?
I'm curious as how that worked. Like, does his team get the approval to confirm and deny by him, or do they just like, yeah, that's him?
I'll never see Steely Dan in the same light after this.
Oh my God!
I will tell you this. I think we ruin every chance of getting Roland on to the men's table now.
First of all, you have to be a man to be on the men's table.
Shots fired.
Damn. So I'm going to throw something out there, because again, as a man who's never engaged in these proclivities, but is clear between, like we all said, the issues of what popped up on his tab one time on his computer. Now these accusations. Roland, what size was it, brother?
Oh my God.
Oh, Jesus! Oh,
seriously?
No, brother. This is what it is. The time is now. Roland, what size was it, brother?
How do you got something like that so quick on the jump, Jeff? Jesus!
What size was it, Roland? How much of a super soldier were you, good sir? Oh my God. Come on.
You got to jump in his ass.
Oh my God. Oh God.
I guess the question is who. So it wasn't his wife. Do they know who it was that was pegging him?
Apparently, now this is where the things get interesting. What I heard before coming on the air tonight. Apparently, the lady in question is the proverbial, let's say, lady from the urban sections of the communita, if you will. let's put it that way.
Oh Jesus! Oh God!
It would appear that he has a predilection for that, for taking a walk on the wild side, if you will.
Man. So what Darwin said, and who else? Mr. Fantastic said it earlier. There is now a pattern on the left. There is a pattern amongst liberal men. And maybe there's a reason why they're the first ones to jump up and talk about one sexual past don't matter.
Yeah.
I'm starting to realize now why it's the same groups of men who always got something to say when it comes to, you can't judge people for their past. You can't judge people for what they were doing in the before. A real man wouldn't factor that in. Of course you wouldn't, Roland.
God, Jeff.
Come on,
Of course you wouldn't,
Jeff.
Roland.
Jeff, please.
Hey, but this
of course the past don't matter, Roland. Apparently. So yeah, man.
Last week though, all these dudes, he had the vote like a black woman shirt. He's talking about all these male feminist dudes are all perverts. All of them
coming together, ain't it?
All of them, man.
Oh man, you see them on these platforms with some of their girlfriends or wives. You finding out these scandals, the different things. Oh man,
There's somebody else that's stepping into the fold that I'm kind of disappointed too. And I don't know if I don't know if Roland got a hold of him, but Mark Lamont Hill?
Oh man.
Okay. Hold on. And I want to set the stage for this correctly.
Oh Lord.
Because of course I definitely disagree with Dr. Mark Lamont Hill on certain things for sure. But I want us to be very, very careful because it's one thing to make fun of the man, meaning Roland, and it's another thing with whatever it is that people. Because I have read comments.
Oh, let me guess. You got him
Oh, yes.
scheduled to be on.
No, I don't. No, I
Oh.
don't. No, I don't. But I pulled up this block of
Darwin.
But what I want to be careful with is whatever critique y'all about to make about this man, still respect his wife. That's all I'm going to ask.
What happened with his wife? I'm out of the loop. I don't. What happened?
Yeah,
Well, what I'm noticing and
with
observing is a lot of people in the comments are noticing when Mark would be on other platforms and he would talk about, yo, she don't need my last name, or he was just saying a lot of things that a lot of traditions. He was super ultra progressive, and then we saw the woman he ended up with, and I think a lot of people was like, this makes sense.
Oh, she wears the pants in the family.
First of all, that's inappropriate. Mark Lamont Hill is a Temple University alum. He is an actual doctor, unlike Sheen Bryant. Now, having said all of that, as a Temple University alum and professor myself, I will tell you, my wife is in the next room. And respectfully, it wasn't no question. When we got married, maiden name gone. Now y'all can call that whatever you want. She calls any man that has that type of level of tradition, what does she call it? Delicates. But the most delicate person I saw when she was sitting across from her husband was her husband. Absolutely, it's very delicate in the way that he operates. If you can't be in charge of your home, listen, you ain't got no room to say nothing about nobody, respectfully, because I will die on that hill.
So the deal with Lamont Hill is his wife wears the pants in the family. Do I have that right?
Well,
I've never been in his home, so I can't speak to that. I'm just saying he has a different demeanor when he's sitting there on that podcast across from his wife than he does when he's on other shows.
So when the wife
from
is
what
on
I've
the set,
observed,
it hit a lot different when the wife is on the set.
Y'all remember Akash and his wife, what was her name? Jasleen. Do you remember how she would say things in contrast, say things about the people he was working with? She would say things about the very the coworkers he was working with, and she was kind of inserting herself in like their affairs and bringing a lot of unnecessary attention. She's not quite that, but she did already make certain comments about like their platform and what how conversations went. And they are public figures. It's just one of those situations where the comments at times if and when she's spoken out, it was one where I think people were disappointed in Mark, where it's like you're accomplished, you have a lot of clout, you should be getting a certain amount of respect. And at baseline, I think people aren't feeling comfortable with a black man, again, being in a dynamic where they're seeing him be a shell of himself when he's sitting in front of her versus all these other platforms and people who he engages with. It's very interesting to see the noticeable change with him. But what about Mr. Fantastic? Have you seen anything, or Darwin? Have you? Well, Darwin, you brought him up. So what are you thinking about him, and why do you say that?
Well, I used to look up to him. I mean, not look up to him. I just to think better than what I do now. Whenever he was, on the front lines as far as fighting against police brutality. But now he's in debates with. I think the last debate I saw him in was with Candace Owens, and he was trying to argue that a trans man is a woman, and I was like,
that men can get pregnant.
I was like, wow, bro, you hitting an all-time low. And then I think he was on Joe Budden podcast talking about, I think one of y'all brought it up, the last name thing, saying, I think they was talking about accepting the woman not wanting to accept her husband's last name. He also talked about that he's a partner and all this other stuff. It's just somebody who's so passionate about something so strong. Just to see him fall back is almost like you can detect when these people are kind of bought out by these politicians because their demeanor, their angles start to drastically change. Just so much contrast between it over a course of years. It just made me wonder. Like, I mean, I think I had Dave on my channel one time was telling me how they will fund a lot of these creators, a lot of these people that come out here and speak to I think it's to drive votes, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's unfair that's like cheating, right? Ain't that like going
Yeah, both sides
behind?
do it. You know, both
Oh,
sides.
so you saying that the other side do it too?
Oh yeah, especially this last election. They skipped over regular
I
media
thought that
and went
I
to
thought
platforms and podcasters.
I'm fine with it if they already had the mindset that's geared towards that, but making them change it just for the sake of vote, I think that's just nasty work.
I think the issue, Darwin, is that people were acting like, oh, it was only the right-wing side that was getting funded and all this other stuff. And then a report had come out in like 2023 or what was it, 2024, kind of like David Pakman and all these left-wingers were funded by literally government NGOs. They're literally setting them up and then paying them, $15,000 to $20,000 a month or whatever to say the stuff that they said. And there was this one OF chick who was one of the girls who was going around saying, oh, sex work is real work and blah blah blah. And then last year she was on a podcast, and it was her and her other friends saying, yeah, we were paid the whole time to do the whole feminist OF empowerment thing. They're paying us $8-9 a month to go on these podcasts and make content, all this stuff, pushing this whole female positive agenda. And now the money's dried up, and almost the first thing that they do is say that it was all cap, because then they can make more money getting clout off of exposing the truth.
Did you have a conversation with Officer Tatum yet?
Cool, man. Yeah, I had that back in maybe November.
Is there any contrast between how his views are now versus whenever you talked to him back in November?
He's exactly the same dude.
Exactly the same. I think it was Jubilee. He was debating somebody on.
Yeah, I saw that. Crazy.
Dave, you made a great point. You said there was no FBAs on that whole surrounded thing other than Officer Tatum. That I was watching you earlier. You made an excellent point. They couldn't find a single FBA person out of 20 people on that whole panel. Absolute clown world.
True. What were you about to say?
I was just posing a question. Do you guys think that the overall media arm, when it comes to our dynamics between us and typically, our black women, that they're not comfortable with seeing a dominant black man in rule of his household?
Show me the dominant black man anywhere in media, anywhere in entertainment, anywhere in society, any reality show. Don't worry, I'll wait. All you see is buffoons, thugs, drug dealers, or simps. You do not see anybody saying, no, this is my house. I'm responsible for good, bad, rain, shine. It does not happen. And that is by design.
The only one I can think of is LeBron, maybe, but he's not really vocal.
No. LeBron is bought and paid for. That's a different ball game. LeBron is bought and paid for, because when LeBron was going to organize that walkout during the bubble, Obama put in a call and he shut that down immediately. So no.
Damn. The only one I can think about is the guys that's on this panel.
Yeah.
that runs their household.
I think.
I think I think this is exposing that it's not best practice to be that transparent about your dynamics in your relationship, because then you could probably lose people. Oh, you the head of the household? We don't deal with guys like that. We deal with guys,
but that's only for us.
Partnerships.
That rule only exists for us. I don't see that problem when we talk about our other counterparts. Our white brothers, and typically don't have that issue. It only seems to be
white, Asian, Hispanic, Latino, nothing other than us. We're the only group to where the men are expected to be subservient and beneath the women, right? To where, again, it's not even cool for the masculine black man to have something to say, because all this, and like I said, we're the only group that has to fight from within before we can even fight on the outside. Sorry. No, go ahead.
But even if we are accomplished, we have to share the spotlight. If there's a black CEO, if there's a black president, right, you got to have his wife up there at every single thing, saying stuff, doing just as many, if not more, interviews. I was born in 1980. I mean, Nancy Reagan, I remember, but I don't even remember what George Bush Sr.'s wife, and George Bush Jr. Well, I don't even remember what they looked like. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just, because they was chilling in the cut. But yeah, Hillary, she was there. But Michelle was up there with Barack the entire time. And other men look at black men and they're like, what are y'all doing? The Middle Eastern man, his wife, she's covered up. You really don't know what the Middle Eastern man's wife looks like, right? But they look at us and like, even an accomplished black man who's done every single thing possible, made all the right moves. Once he is with a black woman, he has to share the light, he has to share the space, he has to run decisions by her. And how do you earn the respect of any non-black peers or any non-black group of men when you have that extra hurdle in your way? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, damn. Real quick before we continue on, Demetrius, thank you for the $5. The dollar is about to go digital and the financial system is changing, and we're talking about bonnets. We're cooked. Yeah, I think it's gonna sound crazy, brother. Because I know the digital dollar is coming at some point, and I'm sure everybody on the panel is aware of it too. When we don't put ourselves in the position to where a year from now we're in a drastically different place collectively, 5 years from now, between now and 2030, you're gonna have the same people arguing about bonnets, and other groups are advancing and building like everybody else. Again, they got the Chinatowns, and again, you can point to history of all the different forms of sabotage, brother. It's 2026. There are black people. I've heard of and seen stories of black people getting together, buying 20, 30, 50 acres of land in the South right now in the US, and their communities are expanding. So there's people that's already doing the work. There's people that's working abroad. And then there's people who, are getting caught up in things that it's unfortunate, man. But thank you for the $5 nonetheless. Nathan, thank you for the $4.99, donating just to support the brothers for sure. Thank you for that. Jalil Gibson, thank you for the $2. Add colorful wigs to that list as well. Yeah, them things should definitely be banned. Blue Bronco, thank you for the $2. Exploding the colon.
Peg, it will come back to you.
Oh my God, that is crazy. Shane Michael, he said exploding the colon with Roland. Oh my God. I have never exploding colon Roland. Shane Michaels again, $9.99. Roland has been a freaky dude. What's crazy is these are the people in a certain party that push out in our face, knowing these cats have crazy skeletons in their closet. Come on out, brother. It's 2026. It sounds crazy, man. I respect the dudes that's very out and open. Again, it's everybody's personal right to keep what they want, but then stuff like this happens. And now it makes sense why you've been telling us to vote like black women. Now it makes sense why you're telling us politically to be led by our women. Now it makes sense why you are the attack dog for the DNC to attack any black man that's standing up and saying they're not delivering. It makes sense now. It actually makes total sense. He be Roland, still human made. Thank you for the $2. Brew Bronco, I'd rather root for the Sixers than listen to Roland.
Hey.
Listen, brother. Welcome.
Hey.
We gonna welcome all the bandwagoners this season, brother.
Come on to the bandwagon. Back to back. Let's go.
Be lit, Mr. Fantastic. Wait for you to come into Philly for a game, brother. Jeff St. James's loud voice, $5. Poetic Flacco was too excited to describe Roland's size situation. I think as a man, we must have a certain decorum about subjects like this. You know what's crazy? There's no decorum when it comes to people, heterosexual black men that aren't on a plantation. They will say whatever they want about you. They say you ain't black. They say you a sellout. They say you a coon. They will call you every book, Sambo book. They'll call you they'll try to ostracize you. They'll try to target you. They'll try to blackball you. But then we want to have tact when it comes to what's going on their side with the debauchery. No, nah, brother. Nuh-uh. Alpha J, thank you for the $1.99. Where is the ascot?
You're missing an S in ascot.
Yeah.
William F. Beeman, thank you, sir, for the $5. Waking up to the show, being on cool, waking up to see 32 miles of BBC being shown on the. I am calling corporate for sure. That is hilarious. Mr. GQ Smooth, $20 here to support the show. Good show. Thank you, sir, for that. Red Falls Black. Thank you for the 200 jewels, jamming. And last two, the Real Black Lexicon, $20, showing my respect to your mission. Thank you for that. And last but not least, Daniel Manning, again, $4.99. Nesting Toys, Roland, you pay. Oh man. So final thoughts, man, between in general, between and I think these two stories, they're completely separate. They're not connected at all. But I also think I'm seeing a pattern of what's one leading to the other. I think we're seeing a lot of men that have compromised forms of masculinity. And when I say that, I'm not even necessarily referencing the whole Lamborghini feet up to the ceiling.
You mean Peg? It'll come back to you.
Obsidian.
All I'm saying is I'm noticing a trend where men that are very subservient to women, men that are very submissive, men that are often wanting women to be in a dominant position politically, publicly, and even behind closed doors. It seems like they're the same ones that's often infantilizing the Black community when it comes to any level of expectations for us to grow or improve. And I think we're seeing that pipeline where the weakest form of masculinity the weakest form of a man is when he can only see himself through the eyes of a woman.
Is
And I think
anybody familiar? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, so I don't know. I'm in a space where I'm starting to realize like we shouldn't be surprised anymore if these guys as women are getting on platforms and saying, "Yeah, I hated him for like 10 years during our marriage." What? Would any self-respecting man, let alone a man that loved his wife, why would he say that in public? He could say that to his therapist. He could even say that to his close, immediate mentor or friends if he's really going through it. Why would you say that amongst millions about wanting to sleep with other men or wanting to do threesomes with your friends, man? And these women are wives. I read a quote today that I realized is connected to all this entire situation. Somebody said, Aisha Curry and Jada Pinkett Smith have said worse things about their husbands than Vanessa Bryant, who went through that public cheating scandal involving Kobe Bryant. Aisha Curry and Jada Pinkett Smith have said worse things about their husbands than Vanessa Bryant.
Wow.
And I think we just got to take into account like there is a world where when decorum doesn't matter, standards don't matter, women can say whatever they want. The men should just be quiet, and anytime we're called to do anything, it's the master, it's the white man, it's the this or the that. The pipeline of men wanting to not let us push us towards growth, and the men that are getting caught up in these type of situations, I just don't find it surprising. So I want to hear from each of y'all, just to kind of close this out and final thoughts. Dave, Darwin, AJ, y'all can start us off.
Yeah, I think in all things, right? I'm gonna say this personally. I can tell you there is a distinct difference between who I am now and who I was 361 pounds ago. I can tell you when I walk in a room, it's a lot different than what it was then. I can also tell you that 23 books changes a conversation as to how people view my level of intelligence. I can also tell you that anything that is happening in my home is in my home. And the other part of that is you can be strong, you can be stern, you can correct Black people, but if you're not doing it in love and with deference and respect for wanting us to be our best selves, even while we work on ourselves, that is where the problem comes in. When you start calling people dumbasses and simple Simons and coons and whatnot, you can't be surprised when somebody finds your butter biscuit collection and starts holding it up back in your face. The other part of that is college is a microcosm of the real world. If you can't handle getting up and going to class, you can't handle getting up and going to a job. And if you're not willing to do that, either find your way into the military like Darwin, who served our country honorably. I don't know who else on the panel.
And Mr. Fantastic. Yeah.
And Mr. Fantastic, thank you for your service. If you're not willing to do that, then go do that. Because here's the thing about discipline, and this is the part that nobody likes to talk about. Discipline in when you have a system, you can take an 18-year-old snot-nosed kid from any ghetto hood place that you want to and turn them into an absolutely unaliving machine. just with systems. So when we talk about what is going on in our community and we talk about the fact that it is not wrong to say that masculinity is not toxic. What is toxic is this leopard thong wearing beta male simp mangina, vote like a black woman, bit, 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 go to my iPad so I can look at booty cheeks, or wherever Jeff got that collection of phalluses from. And that part I didn't send it to. That was all Jeff. Yeah, I don't deal with none. I want it for the record. That was not Jeff. Them AI images, I copied it. No, sir. No, that ain't no damn Google, sir. You got that from the from the dick. I'm sorry, dark web, sir. Sir, no. Well, Dave, I didn't put that up there. Jeff did. Don't know why you, Dave. Don't you got some sirens to listen to, Obsidian? My thing is, if we're being honest, we've got to be honest. And here's the thing about medicine: it hurts, but it heals. And we got to stop saying that every time we say something negative, that we're tearing down a black woman, we're tearing down black men. You should be able to do this. You should be able to do that. I remember telling my own daughter, yeah, you have the right to wear whatever you want to wear. That is true. However, if you decide to go to the Philadelphia Zoo lion enclosure wearing a Lady Gaga steak sweatsuit, the lion don't give a damn about your rights. That's what it is. When you paint yourself out to be a hero or a saint, you get set up like that. And the second you got off of the agenda of the people who are paying you multiple six figures, and y'all know that part is a fact, maybe, just maybe, they held something back. When you are independent and you don't have a master, nobody can make you a slave. If you get ahead of your narrative, can't nobody hold you back. Everything that is happening both at Tuskegee and with pink panty leopard thong man is happening because of a lack of standards and a lack of understanding when it comes that you can critique in love. You can still be funny. You can be all of those things. But if you're not willing to put yourself in a position to understand and lead with a certain level of sympathy and empathy, y'all can say whatever y'all want about me, but I ain't never forgot where I came from. And I never forgot who I am and whose I am. My last name is Anderson, and I stand on that. Period, point blank.
Peg, it will come back to you.
Oh, Lord. I tried.
By the way, there's another really good song. It just came to me that also came out in the 1970s. I don't know if anybody's a Doors fan, The Doors, but The Doors had a really good song called Backdoor Man. Anybody hear that one?
Bro.
I knew he was going to go there.
Bro.
This is the problem when you have a damn near 60-year-old man on this panel who has absolutely no chill. This is what happens when you have a man that's doing a Black Manosphere conclave. He has absolutely no chill. By the way, is Roland on the guest list for the Black Manosphere conclave?
No, we don't have any backdoor action for him. So I'm
I'm sure we can get Butter Biscuits to sponsor his trip out there.
There's a no Lambo legs policy.
he got suicide thighs. That's crazy.
Oh, suicide thighs. That's crazy work.
Darwin, what about you, man?
And all I gotta do is say, y'all gotta learn how to let people get pegged in peace, man.
What?
Let that man get pegged in peace. Listen, y'all can find me on Instagram, Dar McPherson, TikTok.
I'm not doing this.
I'll be coming back to YouTube shortly. I'm on, what's the other one? Twitter and I lost my count on Twitter too. But I'm on Threads.
Pegged in peace.
But yeah, y'all go let that man get pegged in peace, man. And that's all I got to say.
We'll come back to you.
Dave, thinking about a song already. AJ, what about you, bro?
Yeah, just the first guy that you had on the screen when I jumped on, he was trying to say that a dress code might discourage students from going to college. And one of the things that as Gen X, we were a generation that was really pushed to go to college. Like college is the only way. If you don't go to college, there's something wrong with you. If you're going to join the military or do a trade, there's something wrong with you, right? Mm-hmm. And look at Gen X, and millennials, the student loan debt, especially with women. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe we need to take a look at and say, look, what is best for people? Is college the way? Because I do good at my day job, but the two guys I know who make way more than me, they didn't go to college and they're self-employed. So there's other options and that guy's whole narrative made it seem like that old school, well, we need to uplift ourselves by going to college. Like that's the only way, and that's a very, very dangerous message to tell these young people nowadays, especially with this economy and the cost of tuition, right? And then the other thing is, there was a guy, he's in his 50s, so he was older than me, who I work with, and he would wear his suit, but he had Jordans on. And I said, you're a 57-year-old brother, and you got a nice suit, but you got Jordans on. I said, why? And he was just like, this is not understanding what's going on. I'm like, if you're wearing Jordans with a very nice suit and a nice watch, I said, and you're around other men that are, they got the nice Italian shoes on. And I said, why do you have to do that? Yeah, he's like, why? I shouldn't have to. It's like, you don't really have to do anything. You can just choose to be self-employed. If you don't want to play the game, guys, you don't have to, but you better have the resources to take care of yourself and build your own stuff up. That's all. You don't have to do anything, but you got to be able to support yourself. So, but yeah, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. That's AJ Rants. I appreciate you guys.
Okay.
Somebody from Roland's team coming for Dave in the chat, ain't it?
Oh man, True, Mamiya, and then Mr. Fantastic.
No, it was a good show tonight. Thanks for having me. I'm proud for the institutions like your Tuskegees and other institutions alike that are now going out and being very forward with new standards. Because it's simply put, it's just not necessary to have pajama attire out in public at institutions that are supposed to represent future leaders of America. So like AJ said and other brothers alike, if you don't want to subscribe to a higher level of living, then create your own lane. We'll support it. You can wear all the bonnets and do-rags and flip-flops you want to, but for those of us who are living in the real world and strive for excellence and sustaining our image from a positive manner, we on this side with it. So thank you for having me. As far as Roland and all his interactions in the bedroom, y'all said plenty to how that goes, so I'll leave that where it is. But thanks for having me. Oh shoot!
I knew he was going to share the screen again. I'm like, Jeff, come
just not right. It's just not right. But
Jeff,
I guess shout out to Haiti.
Jeff, you are a low-key suspect for doing us like that. You please warn us prior to displaying anything like that again. Obsidian and Mr. Fantastic.
I'll just read here briefly. Your man eat your dinner, eat your pork and beans. I eat more chicken than any man ever seen. Yeah. I'm a backdoor man. Whoa. The man don't know, but the little girls understand. Backdoor Man, The Doors. If you ever listen to it, check it out. Great song from their debut album, 1967, The Backdoor Man. I think that's an appropriate way to take us out, given tonight's topic.
Backstabbers smiling in your face. Mr. Fantastic, what about you, good brother?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna stay away from that one. Yeah, man. Listen, at the end of the day, man, until you make the rules yourself, you have to play by them, right? The biggest contingent of this, and like I said, it always comes back to it. And the most important thing that the Black community is going to have to face is the lack of and importance of fathers being in households. Fathers are the ones that instill, hey, that's just the way it is. The rules are the rules, and you have to do shit you don't want to do, in order to make it in this world. A lot of these kids have a liberal mindset. A lot of these kids are raised without fathers, or mostly by mothers, to where, oh, I shouldn't have to, and all these different things. And they always think of how things should be versus things how it actually are, right? And that's how men understand. Professionalism is a thing, man. There's a time and a place. And like I said, I think Black people need to just become more comfortable with the realities of professionalism. And like I said, if you don't want to do that, by all means, do your own thing. On the other part of it, man, listen, man, we gotta have this straight man. I know, shout out to Obsidian and the Black Manosphere Conclave. We gotta have the straight nigga convention, bro. I'm sick of this. All right, there needs to be an official straight nigga convention so we can reestablish the rules. Okay, straight men don't get penetrated. Okay, and there's several other things I'm not gonna go into at in depth. But hey, man, these young kids out here are confused because of all of these, pro rainbow policies and ideologies, and like, nah, man, it's just certain shit. A straight man only deals with biological women, and a straight man don't have his legs in the air. Now I'll leave it at that.
Brother, we may actually have to do an actual conversation on that, because I went to a party last year and it was about 30 couples in there, and it was a card game, and they asked, let me see who's on it. They asked who had ever what was it, got their gooch licked and something like that was what the card was. You know that there was multiple couples raising their hand in the midst of all of us. And I was like, in my head, I was like, even if you enjoy that, why would you? So you're right that I'm really reevaluating. Like, I did not realize when women I'm gonna give women this. Their numbers are definitely crazy when they're saying like 90% of black men are gay and all this nonsense. There's a lot of men that's doing this type of activity, and I did not know this 2 years ago.
But that's different than what Roland was doing, right?
Well, this argument, Darwin. When you start down there, where you're allowing a lot more attention and activity,
It's a slippery slope. That's what he's trying to say.
it is a slippery slope once you even in that ballpark. So if you requesting that, if you're in a crowded room and publicly talking about enjoying that means pegging is not that far.
TMI, right?
Pegging is not that
Peg,
far.
it will come back to you.
Yes.
It'll be all in 3D.
Yes.
I mean, y'all been married for X amount of years. I mean, y'all significant other ain't never slipped off the ball.
Ain't no slip. Ain't no slippage.
As you said that at that party,
ain't no slippage. That's the problem. And they couldn't believe it. And they couldn't believe when I was like, my wife is sitting right next to me. I was like, absolutely not. I'm not down with that. I'm not cool with that. And it was like, man, I said, I don't need a description, brother. I'm good. And it was like, they're trying to convince me. And I'm like,
They're trying to sell you on it though.
this is why when y'all making these arguments about what women can do to y'all and it don't really count because a woman's doing it. And I was like, listen, brother, if the sensation feels very similar, it's not going to be that hard for you to go, no pun intended, to go from a woman doing it to a man doing it. If you come on now, hold on.
Jeff, I keep trying to tell him, Jeff, it's certain things, brother. Like you never go from weed to crack, because once you go from that, you can't come back. And if there's anything that feels better than a natural, you know what I'm saying, explosion inside of a woman, I want no parts of it, bro. I want no parts of it, bro. I want no parts.
Weed to crack.
What about crystal meth? How about that?
None of that.
No.
Black people leave the white people drugs alone. If you go to a certain level, there's no coming back down. And a lot of brothers, man, again, man, once you get that now, that's the only way you can, that's bad, man. It's all bad, bro.
And what's worse is how much skin did she have to? Oh my God, move aside. Never mind. That's crazy work, man. Crazy work.
That ain't the crack. That's the Grand Canyon. You know what I'm saying?
To close us out, man. Alpha J, thank you for the $4.99. Poor foresight. Who profits from bonnets, extensions, do-rags, spider lashes, and raptor claws? Tossing money out of the most educated community. Thank you for that. Blue Bronco, thank you for the $2. Hillary stood by Bill 2. Still can't stand them. This is true. This is true. Stacy Key. Oh, we already did that one. Blue Bronco again. Wyclef and Roland are on a mission trip. Interesting. I don't know what that's in reference to. Appreciate the show, fellas. Thank you again. And thank you everybody that tuned in. And shout out to all the people that gave, that liked this, that shared it. We got up to a decent number of people that tuned in. And guys, if everybody doesn't know, it's every Wednesday, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. We run like clockwork. And thank you, Stacy, for that. And then Slim, thank you for the $5. There's a severe shortage of people in the trades. Many will pay $100K to create self-sufficient community. We need grads and trades for farms, clinics, etc. I agree. I might be even looking into it for myself in 2027 as well. So to close us out, thank you, everybody. I'm going to play a video to close us out, just to kind of think about for those that maybe is still a little conflicted about the original first topic. And we'll see y'all bright and early next week. And make sure that y'all follow and support every man that you see on this channel today. So thank y'all, and we'll see y'all on the other side. Peace.
I wanted to take some time to express my thoughts on what's going on with the dress code at Tuskegee University, right? So I'm a proud graduate of Tuskegee University 2017. And my time when I was there, you know, we took pride in dressing up. We wanted to look good. We wanted to throw on a suit and you know, look as good as we could, right? Especially on a fried chicken Wednesday or fried fish Fridays. Like, we are walking in the caf 12 o'clock on the dot, like it's a fashion show. We want to be seen because we know we put that ish on, right? So I've always, and my peers always took pride in looking good and trying to look as best as you could. So I'm all for what the president is doing, you know, enforcing that dress code, even though it's not new. Because if you think about it, when you're in high school, you're not going to class with do-rags and bonnets on, right? When you graduate, you're not working in corporate America or wherever industry you're working in. You're not going to be wearing do-rags and bonnets. I'm just saying. In my opinion, I think it looks ghetto. And, you know, to be out in public with that, that's not really a good look. So for what the president is doing is making sure that all of our students look presentable, especially if we have alumni or we have visitors coming to campus. You don't want visitors seeing our students walk around campus with bonnets and do-rags on. That's not a good look, right? We are a prestigious university, right? And we should be held to that standard, especially when it comes to appearances. So again, I have no issue with it. I don't understand what the uproar is. So I'm curious to know y'all thoughts. Like, do y'all agree with what the president is doing or not? Like, I definitely like what he's doing. I don't see nothing wrong with it. And that's not a hard rule to do.
On the Tuskegee dress code situation, I want you to hear me clearly. If I ever find out one of my 4 went to class in a bonnet or a do-rag,
I'll bust your head to the white man. Come on.
somebody's getting cussed out. Okay? And spare me the professors are forcing kids to conform to white expectations argument. That is disingenuous. Our Sunday best was never for white people, okay? There were no white people in our churches. Presenting well was for us, by us, and it was about us. My professor at Cal State Northridge, Pan-African Studies, Professor Scott, was one of the most notoriously tough educators in the state of California. A blackity black man, okay? Hugely prideful about our blackness. Walk into his class in a bonnet, he's sending you right back to your dorm. Sir, I'm gonna need you to try again. And then what's wrong with you? Because the visual says you did not prepare. You present yourself the way you present your papers. And this protective style defense, what exactly are you protecting if all we see is the protection and never the style? You are fighting for the right to be unprepared. Lazy battle, okay? Lazy battle. My kids hear it constantly. My expectations of you never change. Represent yourself and this family well every time you walk out the door. And that's it. I don't care what the situation is. So I want you to tell me in the comments, fashion statement or unprepared? Or were we just raised different? Tanya is my name and controlling the narrative is my game. I want you to hit subscribe because if you don't control the narrative, the streets will, and it will not be